If my doctor knew that I was out here fishing, he would be a bit disgruntled. Hey, you! You're watching Robbie Fishing. G'day folks, this afternoon I've come fishing in agony, but also out of necessity. I've been laid up at home for a few days in a lot of pain, and I've been told just to get lots of rest. But the staying at home business isn't going too well. I just had to get out. So I've come out here to one of my favourite spots with just an hour and a half of light left, if that, just to see if I can catch a fish and just to get out of the house. I'm going to have two rods. Actually, they've both got paternoster rigs. They've both got two Jan-Jack worms. And the first one can go just out there. The second rod, it's actually not the rod I want. I should have brought my blue rod with me with the running sinker rig. But anyway, I'm not going to change. I'm just going to leave it as it is, and I'm going to put this one down there in front of that tree. Usually go alright down there. The creek's very low at the moment. Alright, I'll put them in, then I'll sit back and I'll tell you why I shouldn't be fishing at the moment. Right, now the lines are in. It's time to just sit back and chill out and wait for a bite. Time to play the waiting game. The creek's a lot lower than normal. I hope that doesn't affect the fishing. But anyway, if I don't catch a fish, it doesn't matter because I just want to get out the bush. This is the story. Those of you that have been following me for a long time will know how often I've been going on about my back pain. I'm constantly banging on about my back pain. Well, since July, it's been really bad. And then over the last couple of weeks, it's been next level bad. It's just been horrific. I'm getting a nibble on the long rod already. But it all came to a head on Saturday morning. It's currently the Monday before Melbourne Cup Day, so the day before yesterday. Friday, I spent most of the day at home. I went out Friday night to the youth group at my church to help out. I didn't do much. And then Saturday morning, I woke up and I was in so much pain. My leg was numb, my back was sore. The pain was excruciating. I went to climb out of bed and I collapsed onto the floor. And I got up and I went out into the lounge room and I thought, oh, this is worse than normal. I just limped around. I went to the loo and got myself a drink and I was just in a world of pain. Then I went to sit on my couch and I sort of fell on the couch. And then I went to get up and then I collapsed onto the floor again. So Loretta and Holly took me to the hospital, to the Wayne Hospital, and they were terrific. I should have gone earlier, but I went to the hospital with a bad back there a few years back, and they gave me an endone and made me sit in a plastic chair for 6 hours, a plastic picnic chair, and I vowed never to go back. It was just terrible, and the lady was rude, and it was just a really bad experience. That was about 5 or 6 years ago. I went back Saturday just gone and they were just absolutely amazing. That was so different. That was a much better experience. Anyway, it turns out I've got sciatica. And there's a nerve that runs down your spine and down into your legs called your sciatic nerve. And what's happened, the bad back stuff that I've been whinging about for years, I've got 2 or 3 ruptured discs, 2 at least, ruptured disc and 1 swollen disc in my lower back. I've done a lot of damage to it, particularly in my younger days. And it gets sore, then it gets better, then it gets sore, then it gets better. But what's happened now, 2 discs have slipped at the same time for no reason at all. They've just decided now's a good time to pop out. And as they're bulging or they're slipped, they're pinching the sciatic nerve, which is sending sharp pains all the way down my left leg. Now, my left leg now it's got pins and needles big time. You'll notice I actually can't straighten my leg out to show you because I'm in too much pain. But you'll see there I've got my bogs on, bogs and shorts. That's the winning combination. The bogs aren't to keep my feet dry or to keep the snake out. The snake's out. Is it getting a bite or is it just wrapped around that bit of grass there? Ow! The bogs are because they're easier to put on my feet than other shoes. I think that's just wrapped around that bit of grass. What have I got? I've got a fish. What on earth? What? I've got a big fish. Didn't even really bite. I just pulled the line up and there was a monster fish there. It was the weirdest bite. It's most likely going to be a carp. And show me that fish. Yeah, it's a big carp. A big old mud mullen. But anyway, I'll cut the story short. Been here about 2 minutes and I've caught a fish. I've got sciatica. I've got a lot of pain. I'm heavily medicated. I'm on endone at the moment. But I'm not on a huge dose. I had 2 this morning. I was meant to have 2 this afternoon, but I haven't because I wanted to come fishing. So I don't want to drive after I have them. So I'm a bit, a little bit slow and a little bit in pain. But then, so I should just stay home, but then I've got my mental health to look after, and that happened on the Saturday, and it's now the Monday, the Monday evening, so I've been stuck home for all Saturday apart from the hospital visit, all yesterday and all today, and I just had to get out, so hopefully this will give me a bit of a fix and I can stay home for a few more days. Thankfully I had about 6 videos lined up to share when it happened, so I'm going to share 3 this week and I've got 2 for next week. Plus this one whenever I decide to release it. So it could be a little bit late before you see this video. Right, that's all the talking over and done with. Now let's start fishing. Oh wait, I've already started. Oh, don't fall in. Tell you what, I don't know where I'd be without modern medication. Whew. That pain on Saturday morning was something else. Oh, keep me on this other rod here. Into the net? No, not quite ready yet. It's quite a big fish. I'm not going to worry about any measurements or anything today. It's just, to be honest, it just hurts too much to bend down and do any fiddling. So I'll do the least amount of bending as I possibly can get away with on this trip. In the net, in the net, in the net. Oh, so close. Not quite ready yet. That net's on the bottom. Wow, it's so shallow. I can't get the net down any lower because it's too shallow. I suspect that might be why it's not fighting so well. Let's get a photo. Well folks, that was just what the doctor ordered. Well actually it wasn't, it was just what the doctor didn't order. It was what he told me not to do. Anyway, a couple of fresh worms on. That was one ugly fish. I've seen better heads on toilet brushes than I have on that fish. I'll put that back there. Wait for the next one to come along. Those birds you can hear are dollar birds. There's a king parrot. Well, this certainly wasn't my most exciting fishing video. I just caught the one big fat poo piranha and done nothing but complain about my aches and pains. I think I'm just going to have to compete with those squawking cockatoos. I've tried to shoo them away and I've clapped my hands and everything, but they won't disappear. So sorry about the background noise. Anyway, it's been exactly 1 week since I sat here in a world of pain and went bait fishing and caught one carp, one quite large carp. Now, what I didn't show you in that video last week was all the nibbles all night. It was constantly little nibbles. My fishing rod was going tap, 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 and I'd pull down and all kinds of little nibbles. I don't know whether they were shrimp, yabbies, it could have even been little minnows or something nibbling at the bait. I don't know, but all night I was getting lots of nibbles that I couldn't hook up. I suspect maybe small yabbies. So tonight I've come back out with a couple of my bait traps, my shrimp nets, to see if I can catch any shrimp or yabbies or see what was taking the what was biting my worms, and if I'm lucky I might even catch a few small yabbies for fishing bait. But there has been a bit of a change to the environment. The water is actually about probably 15 centimetres or more higher over here. Over there it was almost out of the water last week and now it's under the water, and I've been watching carp right along the bank just swirling around in that shallow water where the water's just sort of recovered the mud again. So there's a bit more water coming down, a bit more flow. But anyway, let's get a couple of shrimp nets ready and put them in. Rightio, now these are my 2 nets that I'm going to be using. There's my bucket, my Yabbying bucket with the bucket inside it. There's the bait. Look at that. That is the guts and the gills and just bits of fat and stuff from inside a big yellow belly that I caught recently. It doesn't get much more gooier and yuckier than that for bait, but I reckon it'll work. I've been thinking, with this extra water coming down the creek, if they were yabbies that were nibbling at my line last week, I suspect that the fresh water, the extra water coming down, might slow them down. If they were shrimp, well, I'll probably catch heaps of shrimp. Anyway, let's put the bait in. Yummy. Ugh, it's all stuck together. That's a bit gross. Right, the gills can go in there. This big bit of guts can go in there. Bit of blood can go in there. Everything else can go in there. Oh, as if the flies weren't bad enough already. They are now. Oh, they're everywhere. Right, there should be enough water to cover the nets now. That's one good thing about the extra water. Last week I put my landing net in the water there to land that carp, and it was literally only 20 centimetres deep. Beautiful. I can't believe the flies. Incredible. So many. I just had a big carp splash. I can see the rings down there. There was a whole heap of them feeding over there just before. Right, on net number 2, you can just go in here. Perfect. Right, it's been about 40 minutes in the river when I'm fishing. 40 minutes is plenty enough time to catch a few shrimp. So, are they shrimp that's been picking at my worms? Yes, they are. There's only one in there, but there's a shrimp in there. Right, there we have a freshwater shrimp. I'll hold him in, I'll probably jump out of my hand and back into the water, but that's okay, it's only one. Right, we've got a freshwater shrimp. There are some people call them a prawn, but around here most people call them a freshwater shrimp. I put it back in the net, and I put the net back in. Oh, these flies, I've never seen anything like it. They are just absolutely horrendous at the moment. Right, net number 2. Whoa, there's 2 yabbies in there. 3 yabbies. It was yabbies. I said before I wouldn't mind betting it was. I just didn't feel like they didn't look like shrimp bites. This is where my lines were, and that's. Look, that one's not letting go. There are 3 yabbies in there. That's a good yellow belly sized yabby. That one. There's 3. Look. I might as well leave them in there. There's only 3. Yabbies can get out of these nets, and they will get out, but not a lot. It takes them quite a while to find out or work out how to get out. So I'll leave them in there, because I'm going to be putting them back in for another hour now, and then I'll check them after dark. Righto, yabby net. So straight back in, just down there under this tree. Rightio. Gee, flies. Right, so I've got 1 shrimp and 3 yabbies. I reckoned it was yabbies. I was thinking if it was shrimp, usually you bring the odd one in, and if they're bigger yabbies, usually you bring the odd one of them in as well when you're using worms for bait. But with little, I thought maybe they're just little yabbies, and that's why they're not holding on. That explains why I was getting so many nibbles the other day. There must be a heap of real little yabbies in here, good bait-sized yabbies. Awesome. Well, I'm going to go for a drive now and come back and check these nets after dark, which is about probably an hour and a half away. I've made my way to the beautiful Ovens River. I'm going to get some really clear water and put it in this bucket to put my yabbies in. This water is beautiful and clear, but first I'm going to sit on this esky. Now I'll just give you an update on my sciatica. Last Monday I told you I was in a world of pain. I still am, but I'm at a point now where I can kind of manage it. Where I'm at is it's still very, very painful. I'm not using barely any painkillers anymore, but still a lot of anti-inflammatory medication. That will all taper off. But I'm at a point where I can walk for about 30 or 40 seconds or 20 or 30 metres, and then I've got to sit. I get really sore. So I came down here and put this esky on the ground. Then I went back and took my gumboots off. So now I'll sit down. In a minute, I'll grab my bucket, I'll go out there and get water, and then it'll be time to come and sit back down again. So I'm able to do stuff now, but if I go any longer than that, it starts to really hurt. Those times will get longer and longer, and eventually I'll be back to normal, but it is going to take quite a while. The sciatic nerve that's running down my left leg is all messed up, and it's just sending all kind of weird signals. Right now I'm in quite a bit of pain. If I look at my left foot, it feels like there's a huge big bulge just here, like it feels like it's all swollen up. Under here hurts a lot. There's a lot of pain, and it just feels swollen and it's sort of stand on. But after about 30 or 40 seconds, it just really, really aches, and I've got to sit. And if I'm somewhere where I can't sit, I've got to lay down. And I was at the Winton Wetlands the other day taking bird photos, and I'd walked about 30 metres and I got sore really quick. So that's it, I just got to drop and just laid on the ground for about 2 minutes, then I was good to go again. So that's where I'm at. Now over the next few weeks, that 30 metres will become 50 metres, then it will become 100 metres, then it might become 500 metres. It's going to get better, but I will have to nurture it for the rest of my life. I've been medically advised to use it. Don't rest too much, don't lay up in bed, but don't push it too hard. Do what I can and then rest when I need to, which at the moment is very frequently. So just keep using it. Stretches aren't good. Not for mine. For some sciatic injuries, stretches are good, but for what they're calling a herniated disc sciatic injury, stretching is really bad, they've told me. So just use it. Just use it like you normally would to the best of my ability and rest when needed. Right, let's go and get some of this beautiful clear water. Oh, the water feels so nice. So good. Now I won't need that much, so I'll tip a little bit onto my foot to wash the dirt off my foot or my feet. That should be more than enough. And look how beautiful and clear it is. Ready for when the yabbies go in. Righto, I'm back. It's time to check these nets. It's not completely dark, but it's pretty close to it. Even now that I'm out here checking the nets, I've still had to get that esky out of my car and sit on it so that it don't stand up on my leg too much. Now I'm trialling out a new light tonight. It's a light that I'm reviewing in an upcoming product review. So let's see how it works. Right, I've got my torch clipped. I went to clip the torch under the top of my shirt, my sleeveless shirt that I'm wearing, but because my stomach is a kind of convex shape, not so much concave, it was pointing up too much, so I've actually clipped it onto my shirt, just under my belly button, so that it's pointing down a bit more. Righto. Let's check these nets. Hopefully that torch is working. Righto, net number 1. They're pointing a bit high, that torch, isn't it? Need it down there a bit. I can't hear a lot of movement in there, actually. What's in there? There's a couple of shrimp in there, but there's 2 shrimp in there, and that's it. I thought there'd be more than that. Right, I'll 1, 2, 3. There's 3 freshwater shrimp. Where's the camera pointing? Hopefully they're in frame. Oops. 2 made it back in. This one's going back in. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Right. There's 3 shrimp in the first net. Right, just to rest my sore leg, I'm going to sit on my esky lid now. Take all the bait out of my net. Roll my net up before I go and check the other net. Right, let's walk down to check this other net. I've got to admit that I'm a little bit disappointed after having 1 shrimp in there before. I thought that the twilight time of day might put a few more in there, or a few yabbies. Right, where's the cord? Here it is. This had 3 yabbies in it before, and I left them in here. What's in it now? Doesn't look like there's a whole lot more than what there was before. I've gone backwards. I think there's only 1 in there. I'll have a good look. Well, there's the 1. I'll put him in there for now, but I'll probably put it back in the end. Well, I'm not sure how that happened, but there's only 1 in there. 2 of them must have got out. They can get out of these nets, but it's not often. That certainly wasn't expected. They don't get out that easily. I wonder if there's a hole in the net, or if maybe I didn't zip it up all the way. Because I'm surprised there's no other yabbies and no shrimp in here. Well, folks, I only got the 1. Can you believe that? I went from having 1 shrimp and 3 yabbies to having 3 shrimp and 1 yabby. I went backwards. I might as well just put that back in there, I reckon. Say later, mate. Tip the water out. Well, folks, this channel has never been about just showing the highlights. It's all about showing the adventure. I'm a bit disappointed after having, 3 yabbies just in the first sort of 40 minutes or so, then leaving them in for an hour and a half at the best time of day. I expected there might be 12 or 15 nice fishing size yabbies, but instead I went backwards down to 1. But that's the nature of the game with any kind of fish species. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a bit of an adventure. It took me 2 sessions to film it. Thank you all very much for watching.